Alright, picture this. You're walking through a mall, minding your own business, maybe sipping a lukewarm pretzel stand lemonade. You have no intention of buying anything. Zero. But then, you see it. A flash of crimson in a store window. 4 letters screaming at you in bold white font, S-A-L-E. Suddenly, your heart beats a little faster, your pupils dilate. A primal, instinctual urge takes over, pulling you toward the entrance like a moth to a very expensive 50% off flame. This isn't just you being weak-willed, it's a carefully engineered psychological response. That simple 4-letter word is one of the most powerful and manipulative tools in the entire retail arsenal, designed to short-circuit the logical part of your brain and send you straight into a state of excited, urgent, wallet-opening frenzy. This reaction is no accident. Retailers have spent decades and billions of dollars perfecting the art of the sale, turning it into a science of consumer manipulation. The word sale itself acts as a powerful psychological trigger. It signals an opportunity, a fleeting moment of advantage in the constant battle between your desires and your budget. It creates an immediate sense of urgency, tapping into a deep-seated instinct that tells us good things don't last forever. Your brain doesn't just see a discount, it sees a limited-time chance to acquire something of value for less than its perceived worth. This feeling of excitement is a manufactured emotional state, designed to make you feel like a savvy hunter who has stumbled upon a rare and valuable prize. Think about how your body physically responds, the quickened pulse, the focused attention. It's a low-grade version of a fight-or-flight response, only instead of running from a predator, you're running toward a discounted sweater. This excitement is the first step in a long con. It clouds your judgment and primes you to make impulsive decisions. When you're in this heightened emotional state, you're not asking the important questions like, do I actually need this? Or can I afford this right now? Instead, your brain is flooded with a different, more compelling question. How can I make sure I don't miss out on this incredible opportunity? The entire store environment is then curated to amplify this feeling. The prominent placement of sale signs, the jumbled racks that suggest items are flying off the shelves, the upbeat music. You're no longer just a shopper, you're a participant in a thrilling event. The store has successfully transformed a mundane transaction into an exciting, emotionally charged experience. And once you're caught up in that excitement, the rational part of your brain that manages your finances takes a back seat. You're not just buying a product, you're buying the feeling of winning, the thrill of the chase, and the satisfaction of snagging a deal before anyone else does. So, your brain is buzzing with excitement from that big red sign. But what's actually happening in your head? It turns out our brains are wired to see sales not just as a chance to save money, but as an opportunity for a tangible gain. When you see an item marked down, your brain's reward center, the same part that lights up when you eat delicious food, or win a game, goes into overdrive. The discount feels like found money. You weren't planning on having that extra $50, but now, thanks to this amazing sale, you do, or at least that's the illusion. This perception of gaining value is a far more powerful motivator than the simple, logical act of not spending as much. Retailers masterfully exploit this by using 2 powerful psychological tools: scarcity framing. Scarcity is the idea that if something is limited, it must be more valuable. Signs that scream limited time only, while supplies last, are designed to trigger this exact instinct. Your brain panics, thinking, if I don't act now, this opportunity will be gone forever. It creates an artificial pressure that overrides rational thought. You stop evaluating the item based on its actual utility or your need for it, and start evaluating it based on its availability. Suddenly, a mediocre blender becomes a must-have artifact simply because there are only 5 left in stock. Framing, on the other hand, is all about how the discount is presented to you. A store could just lower the price of a shirt from $40 to $30, but that's boring. Instead, they frame it as 25% off. Save $10. Your brain latches onto the 25% off part, focusing on the magnitude of the saving, rather than the final price you still have to pay. It's the difference between saying, this medicine has a 90% survival rate. This medicine has a 10% mortality rate. The information is identical, but the emotional impact is worlds apart. Retailers always choose the frame that makes you feel like the biggest winner. These tactics work in tandem to create an irresistible illusion. Scarcity makes you feel urgent, framing makes you feel smart. You feel like you're making a clever, strategic move by capitalizing on a rare opportunity. In reality, you're being guided down a carefully constructed path designed to make you spend. The store has reframed the entire shopping experience from a simple purchase into a high-stakes game. And in this game, the only way to win is to buy something. The rush you get from this perceived victory is often more compelling than the product itself, leading you to fill your cart with things you'll later realize you never even wanted. Let's dive deeper into one of the most deceptive tricks in the retail playbook, the anchoring effect. This is a cognitive bias we rely heavily on the first piece of information offered, the anchor. Retailers use this constantly with their pricing strategy. Imagine you see a leather jacket with a price tag that says, was $400, now $199. Your brain doesn't just see a $199 jacket. It immediately latches onto that initial $400 figure. That number becomes the anchor, the reference point for the item's value. Compared to $400, the now $199 price seems like an unbelievable steal, a massive 50% discount that's too good to pass up. But here's the rub. Was that jacket ever truly worth $400? In many cases, the answer is a resounding no. That original price, manufacturer's suggested retail price compare at price, can be completely arbitrary or even fictitious. Retailers can set an artificially high initial price for an item for a short period or sometimes never even sell it at that price at all, just so they can later offer a dramatic-looking discount. The $400 was never a measure of the jacket's real value, it was a psychological anchor to make the $199 look like a bargain. You're not saving $201, you're being tricked into spending $199. This anchoring effect fundamentally changes your perception of value. Without the $400 anchor, you would evaluate the $199 jacket on its own merits. Quality of the leather, the stitching, your actual need for a new jacket. You might conclude $199 is more than you're willing to spend, but with the anchor in place, your entire thought process is skewed. The primary question in your mind is no longer, is this jacket worth $199? But rather, how can I pass up the chance to save $201? The focus shifts from the absolute cost to the relative discount, which is exactly what the retailer wants. This is why you'll often see products that seem to be perpetually on sale. Furniture stores are notorious. 4th of July, blowout sales. Summer clearance events, Labor Day doorbusters. The high original price is rarely, if ever, the price anyone actually pays. It exists solely to serve as an anchor, creating a permanent illusion of a discount. You feel like you're getting a special, time-sensitive deal, but in reality, you're just paying the store's intended price. The anchoring effect is a subtle but powerful tool that makes you feel like a savvy shopper, while ensuring you pay exactly what the retailer wanted you to all along. Now let's talk about a feeling that's even more powerful than the joy of getting a good deal. The pain of missing one. This is a psychological principle called loss aversion. Studies show the negative feeling of losing something is about twice as powerful as gaining something of equal value. Losing $50 feels way worse than finding $50 feels good. Retailers know this, and they structure sales to weaponize your fear of loss. A 50% off, today only, isn't just a gain. It's framed as a potential loss. When you see a deal with a deadline, your brain doesn't just calculate savings. It imagines the future regret if the deal disappears. You picture yourself tomorrow thinking, I should have bought that air fryer. Now it's back to full price. You've lost your chance. That anticipated regret is emotional pain, and your brain tries to avoid it. The easiest way to avoid the pain? Buy the air fryer. Even if you already have one, or have only used your current one twice. The immediate relief from avoiding loss beats rational decision-making. That's why you end up with a closet full of clothes you've never worn, and kitchen gadgets still in their original packaging. You didn't need them, you feared missing the deal more than the cost. The sale created an artificial value and a ticking clock, and your loss-averse brain minimized potential regret by buying. You weren't acquiring an item, you were buying an insurance policy against future FOMO. Marketers amplify this with language that emphasizes loss, don't miss out, offer ends Sunday. They're saying inaction will lead to a negative outcome. The pressure bypasses logic. You're no longer weighing pros and cons. You're in an emotional battle trying to avoid a missed opportunity. Often the just buy it side wins, leaving your wallet lighter and your home more cluttered. There is no word in the English language more seductive to a shopper than free. Our brains are uniquely broken when it comes to this concept. When something is free, we perceive its value as infinitely higher than it actually is. This is why buy one get one free BOGO deals are so devastatingly effective. You see a sign for BOGO on a pair of $60 shoes. In your mind, you're not buying 2 pairs of shoes for $60. No, you're getting 1 pair for $60 and a second pair for free. That free item feels like a pure, unadulterated win, a gift from the retail gods. But hold on, did you even need 2 pairs of shoes? The BOGO offer completely changes your purchasing calculus. Originally, your decision was simple: do I want to spend $60 on 1 pair of shoes? But the BOGO deal reframes the question: am I willing to walk away from a free pair of shoes? Thanks to loss aversion, the answer is often a hard no. So you buy the first pair to unlock the free one. The problem is, you just spent $60 you might not have spent otherwise. Now you have 2 of something when you only needed 1, maybe even none at all. The retailer successfully doubled their sales volume on that item. And you've spent more money than you originally intended. This same logic applies to all sorts of get more deals. Buy 2, get 1 free is another classic. You went into the store to buy one $15 t-shirt, but the sign says you can get 3 for $30. Your brain does the math. That's only $10 per shirt. What a deal. So you grab 2 more shirts you don't need. You walk out having spent $30 instead of the $15 you planned on. You feel like you got a great bargain. But the store is the real winner. They just tripled their revenue from your single visit. The trap is even more insidious with free shipping on orders over $50 offers. How many times have you had $45 worth of items in your online cart, only to see that shipping will cost $7? Your brain rebels. Paying for shipping feels like a waste, a pure loss. So what do? You go back and find a $10 item you don't need, just to push your total over the $50 threshold and qualify for free shipping. You end up spending $55 instead of $52, $45 for items plus $7 for shipping. You tell yourself you came out ahead because you didn't waste money on shipping. In reality, you just spent more money on another product, which is a huge win for the retailer. By now, it's clear that sales are a minefield of psychological traps. But some retailer tricks are less about psychology and more about outright deception. One of the most common and borderline fraudulent practices is marking up prices right before a major sale event. An item that was selling for $80 for months might suddenly have its list price changed to $120 a few weeks before Black Friday. Then, during the sale, it's advertised as 33% off. Now only $80. You think you're getting a fantastic deal, but you're actually just paying the normal everyday price. The discount is a complete fabrication created out of thin air to generate excitement. Another classic sleight of hand is the fake limited time offer. We've all seen the countdown timers on websites, frantically ticking down the seconds until a flash sale ends. This is designed to create extreme urgency and trigger your loss aversion. But often, if you refresh the page after the timer hits 0, the sale is magically still active, or a new one with the exact same deals starts immediately. The scarcity was an illusion. The retailer was just using a bit of code to pressure you into making a hasty decision. They know that under the pressure of a deadline, you're far less likely to comparison shop or think critically about your purchase. Retailers also love to play games with percentages versus absolute numbers, choosing whichever one sounds more impressive. If a $1,000 laptop is on sale for $900, they won't advertise save $100, because that might not sound huge. Instead, they might not emphasize a percentage at all, or if they do, they'll bundle it with other items to make the total savings seem larger. Conversely, for a cheap item they'll always use the percentage. A $20 item on sale for $15 is advertised as 25% off, because that sounds much more dramatic and impactful than save $5. They are always framing the discount in the most psychologically appealing way possible. Finally, be wary of the quality of sale items, especially at outlet stores or during massive clearance events. Sometimes these products aren't the same as their full-price counterparts. They may be from a lower quality manufacturing line made specifically for the outlet, or they could be from a past season with inferior materials. You think you're getting a designer coat for 70% off, but you might actually be getting a shoddily made coat that was never intended to be sold for the original price in the first place. The sale isn't a discount on a premium product, it's just the appropriate price for a lower quality one. Alright, so retailers have an entire arsenal of psychological tricks designed to separate you from your money. It feels like a rigged game, but the good news is, you don't have to play. Once you understand the tricks, you can start to recognize them in the wild and build defenses against them. The single most powerful tool you have is the pause. When you feel that rush of excitement, that urgent need to buy something on sale, just stop, take a deep breath, walk away from the item, close the browser tab, leave the store for 10 minutes. This simple act of pausing breaks the spell of urgency. and allows the rational part of your brain to catch up with your emotional one.